Hello, everyone. My name is Rola Hamdan. I am a paralegal, a notary public, and a community legal worker with Willowdale Community Legal Services. And I will be co-facilitating this session with my friend Lucy Fitzpatrick, who will introduce herself in a bit. It is my pleasure to welcome every one of you. The topic of our session today is community engagement between faith groups and service provider organizations during the pandemic. We do have over 60 people registered for this session, so maybe people will join as we go. That's exciting. This session should be recorded, Lucy. And
this meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, Lucy. If people have questions, please submit it in the chat box, and we will try to address the questions at the end of the presentation. Community engagement. This is a dear topic to most of us. What is it? In simple words, it is working together to affect positive change. We do have 3 inspiring guests with us today who will share their work and experience with us. So without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Lucy to introduce our guests.
So thank you, everyone, for your interest in the community engagement between faith groups and service providers. And today we have 3 amazing guest speakers. And first, I'm trying to find Father Hernán. Okay, now I can see him. I want to make sure I see his face when I introduce him. So we have Father Hernán Astudillo. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. He is with San Lorenzo Church and the Latin American Community Center and CHHA 1610 AM Radio Voices Latinas. And they're going to give more information about themselves instead of us giving the full biography. Then we have Amy Cheng, the manager of urban health programs, Unison Health and Community Services, and Sabrin Daghaishe, vaccine engagement teams project manager at North York Community House. So they will be presenting today, and we're going to ask you to, if you have questions, please put it in the chat box, because we want to wait until after they're finished to answer the questions. Okay, so we'll pass it over.
Thank you, Rola and Lucy. I'm going to start with something in Spanish. Es un honor presentar con el Padre Hernán y Sabrin Astudillo. So I just share that it is such an honor to be here to be presenting with Father Hernán and Sabrin today. I'm Amy Cheng, Urban Health Programs Manager from Unison. Let me take a very quick moment to share with you what Unison does and who we are. Unison is one of the community health centers in Ontario. We are funded by the Ministry of Health through Ontario Health. And currently, there are about 101 of us scattered throughout the province of Ontario. Many of us also have satellite locations. Unison currently has 5 locations situated in the northwest area of the GTA. Our goal and mandate is to provide primary care services and offer a range of health promotion, wellness programs, and community services that are accessible, equitable, and inclusive. We work with our clients, our community members, and community at large to address social determinants of health, such as advocating for food security, digital equity, education, community safety, affordable housing, and so forth. And with Unison, we love working with partners. Collaboration is one of the key values that we uphold and embrace. We work with community networks like the North York Cluster, social services, settlement agencies, health partners such as hospitals, family health teams, grassroots organizations and groups, and many organizations as well. So it's a privilege to be able to work together to address many needs in the community and be able to achieve health together and to pursue healthy communities. So next, I'm going to pass on to Sabrin to introduce herself and her organization.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and to present along with Amy and Father Hernán about our work together during the pandemic. My name is Sabrin Daghaishe. I'm from North York Community House, North York Community House, it's a nonprofit dynamic agency that has been serving communities in the Northwest area of Toronto for over 30 years. We provide different services and vast majority of programs for newcomers, refugee, children, youth, women, families, and seniors. And we support our community to become engaged, active, and thrive in their own lives and in their own communities. And today I'm presenting I'm going to talk about the project that I'm leading, which is the North York Vaccine Engagement Teams Project, or as we call it, the VET. The North York VET is funded by the City of Toronto, and the objective of the project is to increase vaccine confidence and to support our communities to get vaccinated through community ambassadors and agency outreach. In our North York VET, Niche is the lead for this project, and we co-lead this project with our partners at the Working Women Community Center. And in our North York VET, we have around 41 diverse ambassadors that actively engage in their communities, and they represent different communities in North York and work in different neighborhoods of North York. And along with Niche and Working Women, we work with diverse and big team of partners. We have over 15 partners that we are collectively working to support our communities in the vaccine project. We have nonprofit organization, grassroots community organization, health partners, and faith-based organization. And we all working together to increase vaccine confidence and to support our most vulnerable communities in North York to access vaccination and to access health information. And this is a really great point to introduce our next speaker, which is Father Hernán, who's been very active member of the North York VET as an ambassador and as a partner. And I will turn it to him to introduce himself.
Buenas tardes. It is a privilege to share in this occasion, in this moment, with Amy from Unison and Sabrin from North York Community House. A privilege which goes beyond of the pandemic needs. It goes to the ways to support those who are in the most moments of vulnerability. I am very proud to know those two sisters in my humble journey and to enrich our wide way in our small parish, which is San Lorenzo. We are located almost in the same geographic area. We are south of Lawrence, one light south of Lawrence on Dufferin and Wenderley, and really, I think in 1 kilometer in circle with two organizations. At San Lorenzo, we have three organizations. One is the community, San Lorenzo Latin American Community Center, which works very hard with different groups, grassroots, and especially with the people in vulnerability and people with no status. Our praxis, we believe profoundly in the ecumenical phase, in the voice of voicelessness, in the unity from the diversity. San Lorenzo Latin American Center has programs with seniors, pollination, garden, eco-theology, vegetable gardens. During the pandemic, we did a lot of food issues with the seniors. We have also the privilege to have the license from the CRTC, which is the first Hispanic radio station in Canada. To that, with this little tool, which is the radio station, we take the advantage to call, to enjoy, to speak, to create an oasis of dialogue with everybody. We believe profoundly that dialogue is one of the first steps to start understanding each other and putting our hands together in order to work towards any needs. At this moment, I'm going to share a history. It's that, Amy?
Yeah, exactly.
We like to enjoy the histories. In our community, the leadership, it's a feminine leadership. the power of women. That parish was created a long time ago, but we started developing 22 years ago in the corner of Dufferin and Wenderley. The Diocese of Toronto, the Anglican Diocese of Toronto, they were planning to sell the building, but we asked them, give us an opportunity to create an Hispanic, a Latino taste. And when we start this journey, we already know to our grassroots projects who were Unison and who were New York Community House. In New York Community House, we have the privilege to know Doña Amparito, who was a social worker doing the translation a long time ago. But Unison, we have the contact with Doña Ana Garcia and other people who were supporting the people who are in health issues needs. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, we have this boom which called the pandemic. It was very hard for us because one of our close partners in the radio, a man who shared with us for 17 years, a man well-known in the Latin American community, he got COVID. And in 8 days, he died. We feel the pain in our own flesh. We feel the tears not only in our eyes, but we feel the tears in our hearts. This situation empowered us to start knocking the doors, to start working hard in the issues of the solving lives of the pandemic issues. And in this journey, I have the opportunity to know a wonderful person, Rosemary Bell. In Spanish is Rosa Maria Campana, Rosemary Bell from the city of Toronto. She was one of my mentors. She was the person who introduced me. She's the person who put in contact with many organizations, many hospitals. But in this process, we have the opportunity to have a strong, tight relationship with Unison. It was very important to put our hands in action. And then putting hands in action, it means to start doing the vaccine clinics. So with Unison and Women College Hospital, we have the opportunity to do many clinics around the area in many community centers, halls of the Catholic schools, and finally we start doing in the parking lot of our church. One of the great experience we have is not only the vaccine clinics. We have also los mercaditos. What meaning los mercaditos? It's the fresh fruits and vegetables provided by the beautiful heart, or by the beautiful solidarity of Unison. Unison became for us not only a friendship with the hands and hearts, it became a friendship with bread and hope. In the same way we have with Sabrin at New York Community House. It was really a collapse. For me personally, it was a collapse because we have many Latinos who were victims of the COVID. I personally buried more than 100 people. And for me, it was a big shock because I was living almost between the parish, funeral homes, and the cemetery. And to see the small boxes of ashes, to see dead bodies, it was normal for me to have 4 or 5 funerals per week. I personally was thinking when I will be there. And my small car became my small confessionary. After a funeral, my catharsis was to cry inside that little car and to say to the God, thanks for the wonderful opportunity you give to me. These holy people from Unison, from New York Community House, these wonderful people who are providing us the fast kits, tests, alcohol, masks, gloves, thanks. And actually every Thursday we are going to Unison and carrying 3, 1,000, 2,000 fast proofs. for the fast kit groups. And this goes like that. Hot bread during the masses, during the black vaccine clinics, or during any activities we have at our parish. And the same thing, it is a privilege to me when my phone sounds and who is calling is Sabrin and asking, how are you, Father? How is everything in your place? How is your health? For me, all of those little expressions are huge expressions of faith. Unfortunately, among all of this chaotic situation, we have one history. I decided to change the name of the real history, the name of doctors for the ethics reasons. 1 year ago, Rosita and Manuel, Rosita is from one country and Manuel is from another country. Rosita is from Ecuador and Manuel from Bolivia. They love each other. And they were preparing their future wedding. Rosita believed in the vaccination. Manuel does not believe in the vaccination. The typical expressions, what happened in all societies, what happened in the local, provincial, national, and global situation. Rosita insists to Manuel, my love, you have to vaccinate because that is how we are going to be safe in the family. But Manuela saying, no, I don't believe in that. Manuela has a brother with mental disabilities, a father. His mom died 2 years ago. And Rosita keep insisting, my love, please take the vaccine. And he say, no, they already have the money to buy their house. And but they need to add a little bit more money to complement to buy their house and have the wedding. And in that process, Manuel got a job in the United States. Bingo, he got a job, good job in the United States. And with that job, he's supposed to complement all of their material future, buy the house. So Manuel went to the United States. In 15 days, he was working in the United States. He got the COVID. And when he got the COVID, he couldn't resist. In the United States, the medicine, the health issues, it's private. So he was in the hospital. And when he was in the hospital, he was asking for forgiveness for his future wife and say, Rosita, I'm sorry, I make that mistake. Now I believe, but when he was already positive. Can I have the vaccine? But Rosita saying, no now. But when you will be better, you will have the vaccine. Sorry. Unfortunately, Manuel couldn't resist and he passed away. He passed away leaving a debt of $100,000. His brother with no protection. His father and Rosita alone. Rosita comes almost every Sunday to the Mass, to my parish, and usually we speak. She say, I decide to assume his responsibility. I'm going to be with his father and with his brother with disabilities. This is one of the histories. This is one of the realities. This is one of the tastes. This is one of the experiences we live. There are many other experiences. Those experiences encourage us to put all our efforts, to spend all our energies in terms to save the lives. And it empowers us strongly to work with UNICEF close, with New York Community House close. We become like body and salt. We become like the river and stones. For us, for the Latin American, in order to help to cross the river, for us, Unison is a strong stone. New York Community House is a strong stone. Those two strong and wise stones help us to create a bridge to cross and to have a constantly clinic of vaccination. In that little place, which is San Lorenzo, we did more than 20 clinics. We vaccinate hundreds of people. We provide thousands of fast kits for the tests. We share thousands of masks, alcohol, gloves, but more than that, we provide them a special gift, the trust which came from the faith, from the health, and from the process of immersion. I personally humbly can say it is an authentic and big privilege. I am very happy because I discover my authentic and my real parish with those who are suffering, with those who lose their parents, with those who are living in extremely poverty. I can see the face of our historical Jesus in those people. And I become inspired by Unison because even though they are like an NGO, they're doing amazing work, a great work. They are empowering all the organizations, all the grassroots. And we are one of those grassroots. We are one, the parish. As a priest, I am very happy to go and put in my shoulders the box of those kids. As a priest, I'm very happy to taste the masks and say to the people, here is the gifts. Or to let them to know, look, not your community houses are organizing the clinics in this area and that area and that area. You don't need to come to my place. You don't need to come to San Lorenzo. Take fast your vaccine. Go to this area, go to that area. I am really, really grateful and inspired by Unison, inspired by Know Your Community House, in gratitude with Rosemary Bell, in gratitude with New York Hospital, where I had a privilege to know two doctors, Rebecca and Maria, two doctors who take the bicycle and goes to invite the people around the area, inviting, even though they don't speak Spanish, but they have the flyers in their hands and go and invite the people when we did the Filipino, Latino clinic vaccine with Andrew Roy. To see, Natasha, to see Sweet doing the work, it really, really inspires me, and I think so. We, as leaders, a faith, a church, as Jewish, as Islam, Buddhist, Hindu, Sikh, or any religion, we have to be humble and open our hearts. We have to navigate with the needs we already have with all brothers and sisters in different community centers. I have a really privilege. I am very rich. I am millionaire, even though I don't have the money. But I'm millionaire with those attitudes, with those kindness, with a love, with a grace they inspire to share with everybody. And I believe and the pandemic did not bring only bad things. It bring a lot of good things. Thanks to the pandemic, I learned how to reorganize the liturgy. I learned how to listen to people more. I learned how to cry with them. I learned to cry more with my heart. I learned to hug them not only with my hands. I learned to pray more in my own space. I don't need a church to pray. I need a corner. I need a tree. I need a street. I need a space where a hand meets from me, and that hand inspires, that hand provides me a real inspiration in the faith.
That's wonderful, Father Hernan.
Would you like the song is in the last time? I don't want to sing now, but I would like...
hold up on the song. So as Father Hernan just shared, he already covered the history of us working together. Sabrin, they want to just quickly go over like how we just came together at the onset of the pandemic.
Thanks, Amy. And Thank you so much, Father Hernan. I can listen to you the whole day. It's so inspiring and touching stories. Thank you so much. And as Father Hernan in his speech or his stories that he shared lots of names, lots of health organizations, lots of other organizations. And as you know, it takes a village to make this impacts in the community. And for the simple vaccine clinic that Father Hernan organized or other organization organized, it's all a collective outreach. It's all a collective organization coming together. We have one purpose or one objective is to make sure that our most vulnerable communities has access to this vaccination, has access to vaccine clinics. And all this started at the beginning of the, at least for me, for the VET back in April when the VET started. We were recruiting partners, and who best partner than our trusted leaders, than our faith leaders who are already active with their community. They are already on the ground. They have a connection to their communities. And this is where we started our connection, working with Father Hernan. And of course, Unison is one of our big health partners that have been supporting us and supporting Father Hernan with making sure we're making equity-based decisions, and we're making sure we're providing equity-based services. So thank you, Father Hernan, for all you've been doing so far. And thank you so much for Unison, for all the support you've been providing our communities. So as Father Hernan says, so NECH and Unison and San Lorenzo, we work in different areas, all of us, but our work together is around the Lawrence, around the Inclement Lawrence area or Lawrence Heights, where we all are located. We all are serving the same catchment area, and this is where we're actively working together to actively engage our communities. And I know here representing the VET and NECH, but I know NECH work with Father Hernan is also beyond vaccination, and also Unison work with Father Hernan is beyond vaccination, and Amy can touch more on that too.
Thank you, Sabrin. So we all already spoke about, why and how we came together. I think COVID really compelled us and propelled us to come together. So not only us, the three agencies and faith group coming together during pandemic, we also have hospital partners. We also have a lot of other agencies joining together to protect the community. So that vision, that strong vision really put us together and compelled us to move in the same direction to protect the people in our community. And at the beginning of the COVID, I remember as soon as the vaccination becomes available, there were a lot of mass vaccination clinic in the community. And I actually noticed the mass vaccination clinic really work for those people who have the means to get to places quickly. That means you can drive to places quickly, or people who have the capacity to sign up online. And remember those days, the booking system always crashed, and people had a hard time signing up for appointments. And also, once you get to the mass vaccination clinic, you have to have the ability to stay in line for hours. So for undocumented clients, people are afraid to come forward because you have to disclose your status, you have to provide identity and ID cards. So there are a lot of barriers for communities who are at risk, such as the newcomer communities, the undocumented clients in our communities. So San Lorenzo really helped us. And that also means that there was a great need to have the more localized vaccination clinics for specific communities. And San Lorenzo really facilitated that because they already have the trust. People have the trust in Father Hernan and his team and the church and the community center. And that facilitated a lot of vaccination, and we were able to vaccinate a lot of people. So that vision really compelled us to put together vaccination quickly, coming together, and I think that was very helpful. Anything to add, Father Hernan and Sabrin? sharing that same vision, coming together?
Thanks, Amy. You covered it well.
It is really a wonderful opportunity moment, and I think so that the COVID provide us a new way in these times. As usually we think it will be good to go back to the normal times. And many people say, no, it is not good to go back to the normal times, because the normal times, the past normal times was really abnormal. And how good is now to recreate, to build, to reveal, to empower a new times, at times where the compassion, at times where the solidarity, at times where the grace of the community centers, the grassroots, can inspire and transform our corporations or institutions. I think so. This is a time, speaking in the Christian way, at the time of evangelization. I think so. This is a good time to decolonize, to become humans, to understand the diversity of faith, the diversity of church denominations, synagogues, mosques, temples, people who do not believe. It is a time to become humans, and I can see that with the good relationship with Unison and Oriole Community House. As I told you, I received in these 2 years of pandemic experience, I received more than 50 phone calls from Rosemary Bell, and saying to me, how is going the relationship with these groups? I say, it's good. And I received, I repeated that the phone calls from Sabrin. How are you, Father Dan? How is going everything? Or to have Amy with a green fruits, fresh vegetables, with a team of the people and sisters from different groups, different cultures. I can see the United Nations not in the diplomatic atmosphere. I see the United Nations in the grassroots, which is a pure, which is a transparent, which is a beautiful and spontaneous moment of the creation. And I can see, you can see our friends from Africa, from Asia, from native communities, from Latin American, from Middle East, from different ethnic groups. We really enjoy, because in that moment we did not understood, we did not have the opportunity to have a vaccination. We become vaccinated against the racism. We become vaccinated against the sectarism. We become vaccinated against the separatism. And this opportunity gives us a new kind of vaccine, the vaccine of solidarity, compassion, and the most important, the vaccine of love, to work together in New York.
Thank you, Father Hernan. As you can see here, we took some pictures at our vaccination clinic with San Lorenzo. The pictures on your left, we're just having some fun time there. At one of the vaccination clinic, we also invited a Spider-Man. So as you can see, Father Hernan is learning how to do the web shooter thing, I believe. I really appreciated the opportunity to work with Father Hernan and Sabrin over the past 2 years, because it really helped us to get into the community, to be with the community and with the people. Because I think it's so easy for the agency staff to be working within our four walls, within the building, in our office. As you can see, my staff had enjoyed the time. They all had fun. And I think that passion, to know that we're here to empower people to access the right information about the vaccine and COVID, and being empowered to make their own informed decision, being able to access the medical need when they need. It's really encouraging to us. And yeah, so we really enjoy the time working with Father Hernan and also Sabrin, that team. So I believe this is the back team. Sabrin, going out to provide the right information to neighborhoods, in the neighborhoods, going into the buildings.
Exactly. Thanks, Amy. Yes, these two pictures are an example of some of the stuff our big team of ambassadors do on a daily basis to engage their communities. They're always on the ground. And just want to add that at the North York VAT Consortium, we're very proud of our diverse partners and our diverse ambassadors. And we are, from our partners, we have large number of grassroots organization on our team because, as you said, Amy, we can't do community engagement when we're sitting in the office. Our grassroots organization being a great, valuable members, our partners in our VET team, because they are from the community. They are representing their communities. They understand the issues. They understand what effective ways to engage their communities. So we're proud to have so many grassroots organizations on our team, and we are happy to continue. I know there's some questions on the chat, and we're gonna get into that. I know in the next slides about our continuing work together.
Yeah, thanks, Sabrin. As Father Hernan also mentioned, and also the story that Father Hernan shared about Rosita and Emmanuel, very heartbreaking story. And also, we know that a lot of families and a lot of people lost their loved ones, experienced very difficult financial situations over the pandemic, and will continue in the next little while. We recognize that people suffer from mental health, depression, and so much more. Food security also become such a huge issue in the community. So Unison, what we did was we received some funding from the government, and we made an effort. We decided not to just give people like gift cards. So because we recognize that a $10 gift card cannot buy a lot nowadays. So we actually bulk purchase a lot of produce. They are really good quality produce. And we set up this free market in different parts of the community. And we did a couple with San Lorenzo. And so we just want to give like the resources that we received, we want to put it back out in the community to support clients as much as we can. So these are just a few pictures that we took at the our produce market. And later, I don't know, Father Hernan, who came up with the idea. Later, we figured, hey, why don't we do vaccination and green market together? So when we work together, we also become very creative as well. So I think we did a couple of vaccination clinic and green market together to make the event as friendly, as accessible as possible.
Yes, there is a popular slogan in Spanish. Soñar no cuesta nada. To dream, it doesn't cost anything. It is cheap to dream. And we, the poor, for the poor to dream, it is a privilege and it doesn't cost. So that's the reason we decide to, in terms to attract, in terms to invite the community, we decide to put in the practice the mercaditos, the fresh fruits and vegetables at a parking lot of the church, and then at the same time we invite, in that occasion, Rebecca, who was working, and Dr. Rebecca, who was working in the Women's College Hospital. She is working with Toronto Clinic Department, Toronto Health Department. So since the last summer, we start having the clinics with them in the parking lot and now inside of the basement. But it was good, it was successful because many people, they didn't know about the clinics. So they come and they have the vaccination, they have their basket with the fresh fruits and vegetables, and eating until now they are asking to me, what happened with Mercadito? What happened with the fresh fruits and vegetables? I say, wait, it is coming. We are waiting for the good weather. And we believe profoundly it will come, definitely. And we are very happy, dear Sabrin and Amy, because Still now we are having the first doses vaccinations. And I learned that from Unison. I learned that from New York Community House, or New York Hospital, or Mormon College, and they say, our objective is to get the first doses. So the last Saturday, we have a clinic, we have around 5-6 people coming to get the first doses, which is good. So I'm really happy because in this journey, I discovered a new vaccination. And I think this is the most effective vaccination, which is the vaccine of compassion and love. With that vaccine of compassion, of love, we can superate this pandemic and many pandemics we can have in the life. I believe our experience with the Unison and New York Community House, our journey really provide a new inspiration in this area to build a new vaccine of compassion and love.
So we're almost there. I know we only have 7 minutes left, about 7. So our work, our collaboration wasn't just with the COVID and vaccination. We also collaborated on other issues, such as, so of course, the physical security we just mentioned. So digital equity amongst our seniors was also the other collaboration that we did together. Unison had this seniors online program, and we recruited a couple of seniors from San Lorenzo through the support from Niche. So these are very critical for seniors because through this program, they were provided with digital device, and they also had the opportunity to learn digital literacy. So provided the resources, you also need to know how to use the resource. We were able to do something like this together during pandemic as well.
Yes, this is one of the amazing projects we have at San Lorenzo. At this moment, 20 tablets, 20 Apple tablets, very modern, for the group of approximately 40 seniors. We have our coordinator, Ronald Chavez, who is going to split the group because it's too many. It's 20 tablets for 20 people. So he's going to do another day or on the same day in another time. And to have the seniors, to see the seniors, to learn from the seniors, to see them working with the tablets and learning about how to have a great communication among themselves, because they are isolated. This situation of COVID put us in one corner. I personally have the experience with a couple of people who commit suicide. I have the experience with some seniors who lose their husband or their wife. But now they are coming and having, some of them having this course, which it is a huge thing. Every Thursday, 2:00 at San Lorenzo, we have a group of wise men and women and men. And some of them already are driving in their phones or their tablets how to communicate. They are, in these workshops, they are going to have main issues like how they can connect with the library, with 9/11 if they need something, with their friends, with their family here in Toronto and the GTA, outside the country. And this project is thanks to the result of the collaboration with Unison, with New York Community House. New York Community House has a seniors program too, a youth program too, the ESL program too. It's not only the health, the immersion, and the faith. It goes beyond of that. And like I was telling you before, also we have the eco-theology, the pollination, seniors. We're going to start working with the mental issues. We have in the radio station professionals who are speaking. We have a doctor, we have a psychiatrist, psychologist, we have a dietist, we have a person from Unison. We have 2 specialists who are speaking about the diabetes and dietist. But we have a lot of professional people providing some information to the radio station. But now we are focusing on the seniors. It's important for them to even get in the tablet and see how I am going to do my exercise of respiration when I am with COVID. What kind of physical exercise I can do when I am tired. All of those issues and mental issues. What type of musical I can listen if I want to relax. Where I can go if it's in the Latin American event or in another community. So it is really a successful programs because we have a successful people. We have a successful seniors, we have a successful brothers and sisters, we have a successful communities like Unison and New York Community House. We have a successful mentor for us like Rosemary Bell and other people from different hospitals. It is, at this moment, the seniors project it's overwhelming. It's a wonderful program.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We only have about 35 seconds left.
Okay. So I think Father Hernán has been repeating how wonderful we've been working collaboratively together. So I don't think we need to say more at this point. Just want to stress that it's a synergy. It's we have tasted it, we have seen it, and we have experienced it. So we hope that, we are going to continue to work together to serve the Latino community, the at-risk communities in our area here. And so just to wrap up quickly, there were some roadblocks, but we actually removed them. And so we definitely have a set of shared value. We're very compassionate, very passionate about our work. And we also continue to share the same vision of serving our communities together.
Okay, so we will be going back to the main room. Father Hernán, I think that we should invite you to play your music in the main group. I'll mention that to Isabella. There was only one question, and it was regarding plans for the future. Do you plan to continue this partnership, and what would it look like? So I know we don't have time to answer now, maybe in the big group.
And happy to see it, hear the report back. All right, so let's move on to the next update here. Workshop number 1. I'd like to hear some more about the experiences of faith groups and community engagement during the pandemic. And we had some very great presentations. I got to hear a little bit from Father Hernán, and I'd love to hear a bit of an update. Who will be giving the report back for Workshop 1?
I will, Lucy.
Go for it, Lucy.
And unfortunately, we didn't get to quite finish it, and it was a very engaging conversation. The one thing, well, not one thing, the biggest thing from it, that they've had a long history, and they shared the same vision. So it was a collaboration between Unison Health and Community Services, North York Community House, and San Lorenzo Church. And so there's been a long history of them working together. And they talked about that during the pandemic, it provided them with many opportunities to partner. They did a lot of collective outreach. They wanted to make sure that vaccines were accessible to the communities. So they knew that, people would go to the faith groups. They were already doing quite a bit. They wanted to make sure that their outreach was creative, friendly, accessible. Father Hernán had talked about their friendship was breath and hope. There was a lot of things he had said about stepping stones, or there were strong stones. So together they were able to build a bridge and to overcome, to bring vaccines to people. Amy had talked about, the mass vaccine clinics. Well, people had to line up for hours, or even to go online, to book vaccines. A lot of people in the communities were not able to do that. So they were able to help support the community members. It wasn't only about vaccines, like they had food. So fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. They were able to come together through music, and they did a lot to make it to add that personal touch. So it wasn't just go get your vaccine and whatever. They shared. Father Hernán had talked about some of his members passing due to COVID. And even, some families struggled that one person wanted to get vaccinated, another person didn't want to get vaccinated. So he talked about, connecting to the people through faith and health. It was a very authentic relationship. They strengthened the community. There was a lot of dedication, even you have mentioned from the doctors at Unison. And they didn't speak Spanish. They didn't speak the same languages, but yet they were still going out. And North York Community House had done the training for the vaccine ambassadors to make sure the information got out there. So, they were going out to where the people were, not just staying here, because they came to realize that people couldn't or they weren't able to access. They also had done another project on digital equity. So there were a lot of seniors that didn't have access to technology. So they were able to provide 20 Apple tablets and training to seniors so that they were able to, it broke down a lot of barriers, not only for the seniors, but for the different communities to understand one another. Because a lot of times we talk about newcomers, of course, we were providing information to newcomers about the vaccinations, probably in their own language, but there were a lot of people that were still afraid to come out because they were undocumented. So they were able to help work together with these communities in the Lawrence Heights region. And I know there was a question about if they would continue such a partnership in the future and what that would look like, but they weren't able to get to that question or to answer that question. So I don't know if someone could answer. Do you, Amy, Father Hernan, or Sabrin?
Yeah, I can share a little bit. I feel like our collaboration has been very organic, and we don't sit down every month to talk. We don't do that. I just know that I haven't been calling Father Hernan, so I was the one who have not been calling you, Father Hernan, to ask how you're doing. But I think, so for Unison, when we receive resources and funding, we'll reach out to agencies to partner. But I also find it very interesting with Father Hernan that he has been the main connector. He has been bringing agencies, the hospital partners, us, niche coming together with, and to serve the communities. So I will be definitely coming to Father Hernan and see what kind of crazy ideas he will have for the coming year.
And I know I've been involved in the Faith Forum for many years, and he's just so, he wants to help people, and you can tell he's so enthusiastic and his passion is there. So, I just meeting with him last week, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like if everyone had the same empathy and willingness to share and help, and that, what a great world it would be. So thank you, Father Hernan.
Thank you for the summary, and thank you again, Father Hernan, and for sharing your comments. And clearly, you've made an impression on everyone who attended that session. And I really appreciate you being genuine and authentic in all that you shared about your experiences. I'm also noticing that in the chat, there's some buzz here around. I missed this. I didn't hear Father Hernan sing his song. He's got apparently a song that he's written that's a couple minutes long. I'm going to suggest, just to give Father Hernan a little bit of time to prepare, I'm going to give a little bit of the closing remarks here in the summary. And I think that we'd all appreciate having the song be our sort of final presentation for today before we say goodbye to each other. So bear with me, I'll do the sort of closing remarks and I'll pass it over to Father Hernan.
Cambia lo superficial y también lo profundo, cambia el modo de pensar, cambia todo en este mundo, el tiempo con los años, cambia el pasto en su rebaño, y así como todo cambia, y yo cambie no es extraño, cambia el más fino brillante, de mano en mano su brillo, cambia el nido el pajarillo, cambia el sentir un amante, cambia el rumbo el caminante, aunque esto le cause daño, y así como Cambia el sol de su carrera cuando la noche subsiste, cambia la planta y se viste de verde en la primavera, cambia el pela que la quiera y el cabello en el anciano, y así todo cambia. Que yo cambie no es extraño, pero no cambia mi amor, por más lejos que me encuentre, que recuerdo mi dolor de mi pueblo y de mi gente, y lo que cambió ayer tendrá que cambiar mañana, así como cambio yo en esta tierra lejana. Cambia, todo cambia. Ya todo cambia, ya todo cambia.
We all are like the music. We have a beautiful song. We are titled. Each one looks different. Each of us were different. Each faith is different. But it's titled by the solidarity and love. I really discovered a new vaccine beyond the Moderna and Pfizer, which is the compassion and love which each of you have. Thank you very much for letting me to be one of the small voices from the corner of Wenderley and up. Thank you. Thank you.